Hey guys, and a big welcome to Tom's Films. Today I am back with another video. This video is going away from food reviews and back to gaming. Just a disclaimer from the start, I know a few of you have mentioned that I do waffle on in my videos. That's particularly centred at the food videos. This one is going to be waffle. It's going to be very heavily gaming focused. I'm going to be sharing my thoughts with you, my personal opinions, my preferences, and the video is probably going to be a total of 4, 5, maybe even 6 minutes by the time it's finished. If gaming isn't for you, or if it's not something that you're interested in, I recommend you switch off now because you have been warned. Waffle is incoming. Now, straight to the content of today's video. It's a bit of a hot topic at the moment. It always is around the holiday season, and that is obviously video games and gaming, and that is the old Xbox versus PS debate. Now, it's always going to be a thing. I'm not a huge fan of console wars, I've got to be honest. Microsoft and Sony respectively, they are both very clever at making certain little things exclusive to try and sway you one way or the other. And you'll always have fans of one, fans of the other. Ultimately, the bottom line is I could stop this video right now by saying Xbox or PlayStation. It is personal preference. That is the bottom line, particularly in 2023, going into 2024. The specs on the Series X and the PS5 are more or less identical. Technically speaking, the Series X is slightly more powerful on paper, but again, when the developers make the games to run on these systems, you will not notice, and that's a promise from someone that has had both consoles. Now, like I said, I have had both consoles. I'm currently on Xbox Series X. I think since the launch of this current generation back in 2020, and these are just rough figures off the top of my head, I've had, it's got to be at least 4 Series X's, a couple of Series S's, and probably about 4 PS5s as well. I was lucky enough to pre-order a PS5 back in 2020. And yeah, essentially everyone says to me, Tom, have both, you know, then you won't have to keep swapping. I have had both for a period of time, but then I'd find myself not playing one, leaning towards another. Then I couldn't justify having a £500 piece of kit on the side not being used. So I do only tend to be on one at a time. Like I say, at the moment, I am on Xbox Series X. For those of you that are interested, my gaming history, my very first console was a Dreamcast. That was brilliant. My uncle got out of the loft one year and he just said, "Oh, there you go." And I remember it was in a cardboard box, a Dreamcast with a load of games. It was a racing game. I can't remember what it was called. If any of you watching this know what that might have been, comment down below. Because I would be intrigued, just for nostalgia purposes. Following on from that, then I had a PS2, PS3. Went over to the Xbox 360. Again, in that generation, that's where kind of like my to-ing and fro-ing started. I started on PS3, then I went to 360, then PS3. But ultimately, I would say for that generation, I had more of the 360. I then went to PS4, where again, my to-ing and fro-ing continued between Xbox One, PS4, Xbox One, PS4. But again, in that generation, I have to say my preference would have been PS4. And now this generation, like I say, my preference is Xbox Series X, and I'm going to go into that in a minute. So just a few things of note. I'm going to break this video down into kind of a couple of easy to understand segments. So we've got obviously the design of both consoles, the features of both consoles, which I really like, and then ultimately, yeah, just an opportunity to kind of share some of your thoughts. So I'll start off by saying why I'm on Series X at the moment. Now, Sony and Microsoft, they're going in completely different directions at the moment. Sony are very much still focused on these kind of single player first party titles, and the console is very much the PlayStation brand, the PlayStation franchise, should I say, the console itself is very much still the forefront of all their operations. They are very heavily focused on console gaming, whereas Microsoft, in my opinion, they've taken a slightly different approach. Yeah, okay, the Xbox brand is still massive to Microsoft and it will continue to be so. However, Phil Spencer's come out and said he doesn't care what you're playing on, whether it be console, cloud, tablet, PC, whatever. As long as Xbox can reach you on a screen, they're happy. So the rumour mill has been doing the rounds. You know, what is the future of Xbox? Will they continue to make consoles, or will they just continue to pump money into Game Pass and cloud streaming services to enable you to be able to play regardless of what screen you're looking at? Me personally, I'm quite old school. I do still like the idea of having a console. I know before any of the PC players come at me, PC is a lot better. It is a lot more of a customizable experience as well, and the performance is better than the consoles. However, for me, I just like the ease and convenience. You buy a console, maybe not me, it's a bad example or a bad phrase, but you buy a console, you keep it, and then you know that any game that comes out within that generation then is going to work on the device you got, and I just like that, to be fair. Another reason I'm on the Xbox at the moment, and which I love, is the backwards compatibility. The fact that I can just kind of go into my drawer, because I have, obviously, like I said, I have had 360s previously as well, and I am still quite old school. The fact that I can go into my drawer, pull out, say, GTA 4, you know, a game that came out in April 2008, put it into my Series X that came out in 2020, and it just plays. There's no messing about. I can just play it. And the fact that GTA 4, I did that Xbox Wrap thing, and the fact that GTA 4 was my most played game in 2023, given the age of it, says it all. I really do enjoy the backwards compatibility. Another thing I picked up the other day in my local store was this. I got it for £1. Yeah, I mean, I'm not being funny. In the UK at the moment, you can't even get a packet of crisps for £1. So to think that you can get a game and pop it into your console just as easy as that is absolutely fantastic. Yeah, and another thing I quite like as well is the fact that, and I've already done a video on it, you know, Xbox and, well, Microsoft haven't made this, but they've allowed, obviously, Hyperkin to do so. You know, things like the Xenon controller, which is amazing as well. So it's really kind of like mixing the past, the present, and the future all together, and that's what I really like about it. Whereas PlayStation, it's almost as if they finish with one generation onto the next. Yeah, okay, I know that on the PS5 you have got PS4 backwards compatibility, and some may say, you know, why do you need backwards compatibility? You know, keep up with the times or whatever. And yeah, if you want to play the old games, buy a PS3, and that's fine, and I have considered doing that. But I just like the convenience of it all just being there. Christ, I've noticed I really am waffling. This video's been on for 7 minutes. So I'll start to wrap it up. Another PlayStation, however, there's no denying PlayStation have got the better exclusive titles. Your Gran Turismos, your Spider-Mans, your God of Wars, your Last of Us. They really have got the better exclusive titles. Xbox have been very weak on first-party exclusives. Halo was released, but it arguably wasn't quite as good as people had imagined. The new Forza, that's amazing, and the fact that it's on Game Pass is brilliant. You know, but apart from that, you really haven't got many kind of big kind of AAA exclusive titles to Xbox, whereas you do with the PlayStation. Another thing I do arguably prefer about the PlayStation is the user interface. I think it's a lot more kind of, the Xbox tries to be, well, it is, isn't it? And so is the PlayStation, but it gives you the feeling that the Xbox is kind of like your all-in-one entertainment system, and sometimes I don't find it confusing, but I would understand if you're fairly new to gaming, it's quite blocky, you can get yourself a little bit lost in the UI. PlayStation is very much more straightforward. The subscription service on PlayStation is up and coming as well, it's brilliant. You've obviously got the Premium, the Extra, the Essential, which kind of mirrors Game Pass. Arguably Game Pass still does have more of those titles on it. Yeah, the other thing, which I've left right till the end of this video, which is an absolute bugbear of mine with PlayStation. Now, I'm extremely anal about things, and if I'm spending £500 on a piece of electronics, it has to be perfect, right? And people always laugh at me for this, but the coil whine on PS5 needs to be addressed. Now, like I said, I have had several PS5s. The first one I had, it obviously had coil whine, and I thought there was an issue with it. Second one done it, third, so on and so forth. Then they obviously announced the Slim, which I was really excited for, and I was tempted to pick up. Anything new that comes out, I have to pick it up just to say I've tried it. I've been watching YouTube videos, and it appears, and again, if you've got a PS5 Slim, I would love to know, so comment below, that the PS5, regardless of whether you've got the Slim or the OG, is still coil whining. Now, I know there's an argument to be had that when you're playing games, you're engrossed in the moment and you've got your headset on, is coil whine a big thing? It's not a fault, it's just more of an annoying sound. But for me, it drives me round the bend, and I'm just too particular about things, and for me, I do not like the coil whine. So if that's one thing, if anyone, they won't be, because I've got all of probably about 200 subscribers, but if anyone from Sony is watching this, please, please, please address the coil whine. I tend to find that the Xbox does run quieter, does run cooler, and yeah, it really doesn't make a sound. But like I said, I'm going to wrap this video up now. It's going to be just over 10 minutes, so I was a little bit, at the beginning I kind of underestimated a bit, but I'm going to wrap this video up now and say that it really is personal preference. Both consoles do exactly the same things. Things to consider are watch your mates play, really. Yeah, and look at like the extras, so like the accessories, the gaming subscriptions and things like that, and go from there. They're my thoughts on it. Thanks for watching. If you've survived this long, I really do appreciate. Don't forget to like and comment and subscribe. Please be kind. If you've got nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. And next time, hopefully it'll be a swift kind of 2-3 minute food review. But until next time, guys, hope you had a lovely Christmas. Hope your new year is a prosperous one, and I'll see you on the other side.